They're closing down their plant in South Dakota.
Another festival falls victim to the pandemic.
Hi folks, Chris Justice here live in the Weather Center. I want to let you know about a storm cell that's about to have a tornado warning on it. Dale Gilbert and I have been watching this line right here in southern Habersham County. It has a tremendous amount of rotation with it. We were on the air and on Facebook discussing this as it's moving on through. Right now there's a severe thunderstorm warning with it, but this does have some indications that it's beginning to rotate here in southern Habersham County, shifting into Stevens County. So a severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3:15, but the National Weather Service is about to issue a tornado warning, and there it is. Tornado warning now exists for Stevens County, Habersham County, southern Oconee County as this line continues to push off toward the east. A newly issued tornado warning here for southern Habersham County. If you live in southern Clarksville, all of Stevens County, and in southern Habersham County, you need to be seeking shelter right now. This is a dangerous storm. It had winds up to 70 miles per hour. Now it's rotating and is possibly a tornado. So folks, if you're watching in Stevens County, eastern Habersham County, it's time to wake your kids up. It's time to wake your family up. Get to your safe place right now. I know it's not an easy thing to do in the middle of the night. The tornado sirens are going off here in southern Oconee County, but this is a dangerous situation moving on through here with this active tornado warning. Let's get in and look closer at those wind speeds. That's what alerted me first on live Super Doppler 4 HD that this was actually a rotating thunderstorm, and right here you can see winds that are going away from our Doppler radar, which sits off of I-85 right there, and our winds that are going toward the radar, which indicate that this is a spinning system right here. We're also tapping into the Atlanta radar here, which gives us a good look that this is a spinning thunderstorm rotating here, and gives us winds that are going away from this system at 11 miles per hour and going in at about 20, 30, 40 miles per hour. So this is a dangerous situation here in parts of Stevens County. It looks like it's right on the line of Stevens and Habersham County. Let's put a track on this as it's moving through here right in there, moving eastbound. We'll keep it in Stevens County for now. So Ayersville, Toccoa, Jarrett, Dixon, Crossroads, all areas that are in the path of this tornado warning and this intense rotation that just really ramped up along this line. And that's the concern over the next hour or so. As this line progresses east, we have a tremendous amount of wind energy, and this could very well be a tornado here across the Habersham-Stevens County line as it pushes toward Toccoa, pushes toward Oconee County, right along Lake Hartwell, the northern parts here, as you go up through parts of Clemson, if it continues on its same path. So let's go back to radar here. We'll put a track on this. We'll watch this closely as it moves on through, because this does have some rotation with it. Is this line right here is the culprit. It's a strong line that's pushing eastbound with winds that are up to 70 miles per hour. So the main line itself is pushing through Rabun County, parts of Habersham County, Stevens County, and it's moving eastbound. We'll put a track on it here and getting new information in here. They're continuing a severe thunderstorm warning downstream for that. Toccoa, Martin, Walhalla, Clemson, all within the next 45 minutes. This cell is moving at about 55 miles per hour to the east, and it is producing some rotation right in there. Heads up in Stevens County. You need to be seeking shelter right now in that area, because this is some very intense rotation here embedded within this line. And as this line pushes east, we've got a tremendous amount of instability here in parts of the upstate. Another one to keep an eye on is this one right here that's about to move into Franklin County. So I'm going ahead and putting you folks on heads up, on alert there in Franklin County. We've got another edge of this line that bears watching here in Franklin County, but nonetheless it is a severe thunderstorm warning at the moment. Looking downstream, Anderson, Greenville, Spartanburg, we've got very heavy rainfall. Let's take a surveillance here of the wind speeds in and around Greenville County, see if anything is rotating right now. It does not appear that it is, but we're watching it closely. Just strong gusty winds on the order of 20, 30 miles per hour. But right in here is the area that has the most rotation. Let's get in closer here. I want to get into street level here. It appears that it's right in to the Habersham-Stevens County line. Looks like it's just north of you folks in Stevens County here. So looking in closer here, this would be along Highway 123 heading toward Carnes Creek. Right along. Right there is the Habersham Stevens County line. Guard Camp Road looks like it's heading towards your neck of the woods very quickly here. So let's get in and show you where we're watching this as this system is moving very quickly toward the east. It's a main line with an embedded storm here that is rotating. You've got the winds that are going in a circle right there in Stevens County. Let's put a track on this, put another storm tracker on it as it moves through parts of Stevens County here. New track has it moving into Toccoa and then crossing into South Carolina. So Toccoa, 312, Easton Ole at 320, Old Madison at 323, and then Fairview at 328. So watching that closely as it continues to move on through the area. So this is an active tornado warning here. It does include parts of Oconee County, Stevens County, southern Habersham County. This warning goes until 3:30. So about another 22 minutes watching this warning here as it pushes toward the east here as Live Super Doppler 4 HD scans the area, watching it very closely here. So you need to be getting to your safe place here in Stevens County. Folks, if you have family or friends that live in Stevens County and Georgia and southern Oconee County, you need to be getting on the phone with them. It's okay to wake them up in an instant like this because this is a rotating thunderstorm that could potentially be a tornado. Watching it closely as this line right here is the culprit that's going to be responsible for our greatest risk for severe weather throughout the evening hours, I should say morning hours at this point, as it pushes off toward the east. So this line right here is the strong one. We've got very heavy rainfall out ahead of it. And Dale was noting as he was coming in here that it's so windy, even outside of these thunderstorms. We've had wind gusts up to 43 miles per hour in the Greenville area today, late this evening into the overnight hours. So with the saturated grounds, we're beginning to get power outages. And just an hour or so ago, we had over 13,000 folks without power in western North Carolina with those intense winds that are moving through the area. So watching that closely here as we begin to watch this active tornado warning that sits right along the Stevens and Habersham County line, moving through parts of Franklin County as well. Looks like you could have some hail in areas like that. Watching this closely here as we're watching reports from the National Weather Service and some of our newsroom reports as well. So looking in closer, we're looking at some hail potential here in northern Franklin County. Doesn't seem to be showing up quite yet, but some pea-sized hail back toward Homer, Highway 441 right there, pea-sized hail. So watching that closely as we're continuing to watch this rotation. Let's get back to the velocity. That's our wind product. It allows us to see the wind inside of this cell as it's moving up toward the north and east at about 55 miles per hour. So putting it back into the upstate view, you can see the storm cell that's in question is right here south of Toccoa. Looks like it's moving very quickly. Last track had it at 55 miles per hour. Let's see as Live Super Doppler 4 HD scans it right in here. We'll see where that greatest circulation continues to lie. It looks like it's right over Toccoa with very strong winds here from Fighting Pine to Easton Ole. Let's get in and ID some of these wind speeds right here because this appears to be very strong winds moving up through Highway 17. This tornado warning goes until 3:13 here for these areas from Fighting Pine up toward Jarrett, Dixon Crossroads, all on the path of this as it pushes off toward the east at about 55 miles per hour. Let's turn on our radar network and zoom out. We'll see exactly what we're looking at across the area here as we're continuing to get reports of some rotation in this line. And again, some very strong hail appears to be a case there along the Franklin County, Habersham County line. That's something to watch. You can see up and down this line, severe thunderstorm warnings and active tornado warnings as this line pushes toward the east. We have tornado ingredients that are just sky high across parts of the area. And look at this rotation ramping up here across Stevens County, Toccoa. You need to be in your safe place right now as we're seeing a tremendous amount of wind shear or rotation with this thunderstorm. 55 miles per hour right there. On the other side of that storm, we've got 55, 53 mile per hour winds as well. So incredible rotation with this here in Stevens County, and it does look like it's going to cross into South Carolina here. So let's put a track on this as it moves into the southern part of Oconee County here within the next 30 minutes or so. Right there appears to be that rotation right along Toccoa. If it continues on its same path, I'll do a short track first. It'll be in Jarrett, Dixon Crossroads, Johns Mill, and Oakway, all within the next 30 minutes. But putting a longer track on it here that gives you a little better idea for you folks in southern Oconee County into Pickens County, right along the lakes here. If it continues on its same path, not to say that it will or continue as strong, but it could be in Johns Mill, Oakway, and Clemson by the top of the hour. So that just shows you how fast this is moving. If this rotating thunderstorm were to continue into parts of Oconee County, it could impact parts of Lake Hartwell, southern Lake Keowee as well. Watching it closely here, I've got some new information coming in as we're getting some reports out of Polk County from some separate storms that we're getting some blown transformers and multiple trees down from some gusty winds. So folks in the newsroom will check in on that. It looks like Lake Adger in Polk County getting some storm damage from some strong gusty winds right there. National Weather Service issuing a severe thunderstorm warning here for parts of Oconee County as they're continuing this eastbound, continuing right in here with the strongest rotation in parts of Stevens County near Toccoa. It looks like that cell is continuing to move now at 60 miles per hour is how fast that storm cell is moving. So that is a fast-moving cell, and we'll put a new track on it here as it moves on through. Let me turn radar back on as we're looking at this and others, as this line right here is the line that we've been watching all day that could produce the line of severe weather here in Oconee County, parts of Stevens County, and look at that hail core starting to show up here across Franklin County. It does look like this line is becoming more solid, so whether it's a wind threat or a tornado threat, it's a strong storm heading into parts of Toccoa and into Oconee County. But we have this active tornado warning which goes until 3:30. It does include you folks in Oconee County. It includes you folks in Stevens County, the northern part, really right at the lake part of Franklin County. So you folks in Livonia, right there on Lake Hartwell, you are under this tornado warning and need to be seeking shelter right now. So what does your safe place look like? It needs to be the most interior part of your home, the lowest level of your home. If you can get under a stairwell, that's a safe place. A bathroom would be a safe place. And in the bathroom, getting inside the tub would honestly be the safest place. I know waking your kids up here at 3:15, if you're in one of these warned counties, is not the most ideal thing, but it's the safest thing you can do to protect your family right now. Nighttime tornadoes are so dangerous because so many people are sleeping, and you need to be taking this seriously. If they're young kids like I have, maybe they'll fall back asleep in the bathroom there. Make it a comforting environment with some blankets, maybe some stuffed animals there, but you need to be seeking shelter in Stevens County, Franklin County, Oconee County, as this is a strong storm that is showing some of the strongest rotation that we've seen so far today. And I want to tell you here that this line continues to show some bowing here. Bowing means that it's starting to extend and outrun other parts of the line. So you can see this part in northern Stevens County is kind of lagging back, while the southern end of this still right here continues to show some strengthening. So that's where we're seeing the rotation. And as I turn back on the velocity, basically velocity is looking at the wind speeds within my cell here, and you can see that we've still got a tremendous amount of rotation right near Toccoa. Toccoa continues to be the most concerning area here of Stevens County, so let's get in closer. It looks like, if anything, the northern part of this warning is the most dangerous. So heads up, Fighting Pine, Fairview, really watching that closely down the Savannah River Valley here as this continues to move eastbound. Let's put an ID on some of these wind gusts that are moving through. So Fighting Pine, you've got wind gusts that are just racing right now with this tornado warning. Wind gusts that are up to 50, 60, even 70 miles per hour. This rotation here in Fighting Pine and in Toccoa. So watching that rotation closely there in parts of Stevens County. Not the only cell that we're watching. Let's pull out just a little bit and take another surveillance look, so to speak, of the area to make sure none of our other lines are rotating. It does look like we're seeing some strong winds that are extending out in the northern part of Oconee County, and we've got a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning which basically covers us for all of this activity that is moving into parts of Greenville County, parts of Pickens County and now including Anderson County. So let's turn on the radar and we'll look closer at this. Yeah, for sure, right there. You can see that line that is extending out right there. That's the tornadic side of that. But this is a very strong storm with gusty winds that are in excess of 60 miles per hour. Hence the newly issued severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Greenville County. Let's put an ID on this severe thunderstorm warning that includes Greenville County, Anderson County, northern tip of Abbeville County, all of Oconee County. Basically just encompasses this whole area due to this line right here. This warning goes until 4:15 for the severe thunderstorm warning. And in that line of severe winds that are in excess of 60 miles per hour, we have a rotating thunderstorm that now looks to be moving closer to Lake Hartwell. Basically, it's going to split the difference here if it continues to rotate and go in the northern part of Lake Hartwell, southern part of Kiowee right there. So watching it very closely as this continues to be the most dangerous part of this storm. Let's take a closer look at the rotation with this, because we do have some strong winds that are in this cell. As it moves on through, I'm concerned about the bowing, so to speak, the squiggling nature of this line. Anytime you see an S-shaped line like that, it means that parts of this line are trying to outrun the other parts. And you can see there's a little notch right there. The northern part of this warning from the National Weather Service continues to look to be the most dangerous to me. Let's look at the velocity, which gives us a better look at the wind speeds within this warning. You can see right there in Stevens County, parts of the Oconee County line. Looks like it's now pushing into Oconee County. We've got wind speeds that are in excess of 58 to 60 miles per hour. Getting new information here from, folks in the newsroom. We now have a tornado warning for Greenville, Oconee, and Pickens County and Transylvania County, it appears. So watching that, that's a new one that's about to come out here. Tornado was located 13 miles north of Walhalla or 5 miles west of Devil's Fork State Park, moving east at 55 miles per hour. So it does appear that this line continues to be very dangerous. As we're looking at that, I'm going to get back out here and give us a look at the entire area, as we are seeing a couple of areas of rotation now moving into Greenville County, parts of Oconee County. So several areas here that are starting to show some rotation. A newly issued tornado warning here for the northern part of this line right there. And wow, yeah, look at that wind that is coming through parts of northern Oconee County now. So two separate areas that are under a tornado warning. This new one includes parts of Transylvania County in western North Carolina, and it also includes Oconee County, and this is going to move right through Lake Jocassee. It is now 6 miles west of Devil's Fork State Park. So right there on Jocassee, this is some incredible rotation, some of the strongest that we've seen so far, right along this line that is moving through. So if you're watching right now in northern Oconee, northern Pickens, and northern Greenville County, it's time to get to your safe place. This is an active severe thunderstorm that
The National Weather Service in Greenville-Spartanburg has issued a tornado warning for southeastern Transylvania County in western North Carolina, northwestern Greenville County in upstate South Carolina, northwestern Pickens County in upstate South Carolina, northeastern Oconee County in upstate South Carolina, until 3:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 3:18 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 13 miles north of Walhalla or 5 miles west of Devil's Fork State Park, moving east at 55 miles per hour. Hazard: tornado. Source: radar indicated rotation. Impact: flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Devil's Fork State Park around 3:20 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Jocassee Gorges, Lake Jocassee, Kiowee-Tugsaway State Park, Lake Kiowee and Gorges State Park around 3:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Table Rock State Park and Caesars Head State Park around 3:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this dangerous thunderstorm include Sunset, Pumpkin Town, Sassafras Mountain, Rocky Bottom, and Cedar Mountain. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. A brief, weak tornado is likely. Mobile homes could be flipped. Falling trees can cause death or serious injury, and major
to be a tornado near Moody Cove. Watching it as it moves toward Boones Creek and then eventually Jocassee, right there on the lake, northern part of Kiwi as well, right along Highway 11. This would parallel Highway 11 right there. And looking out just a little bit here, let's get a better look at where this is going as we're looking at our wind speeds within this, not necessarily the radar. 2 active tornado warnings, one in Pickens and Oconee County, the other in Stevens and Oconee County. So 2 areas here that are rotating with this line that's pushing on through the area here. So we'll get us a look here at the entire area, and I'll turn radar back on and we'll ID some of this. So if you're just now tuning in, likely your alerts going off on your phone or the sirens going off in town. We've got 2 active tornado warnings here across parts of Pickens, Greenville, and by Greenville I mean Caesars Head. This is the extreme northern part of Greenville County here. If you're watching right now in Greenville or Simpsonville, you are not under a tornado warning. This is for the northern part of the county. You need to be watching this closely though, as this line is moving towards you. And now we've got 2 active tornado warnings that could indeed be producing a tornado on the ground. So we'll start with this newly issued tornado warning that just came down from the National Weather Service. This one goes until 3:45. It does include the most northeastern part of Oconee County. It's moving right toward Lake Jocassee, heading into northern Pickens County. So Pumpkin Town, Dacusville, Pickens, northern part of Easley. You need to be seeking shelter right now. Now is the time to get your family up and get to your safe place. Hopefully your kids stay asleep. Maybe you're in a safe part of your home already. This is a time to assess your home. Do you have large trees on one side of your home but not the other? It's time to get to that side of the home. Maybe that's where you hold down fort for the rest of the night. But we've got 2 active tornado warnings. The second one here goes until 3:30. This is for Stevens County and southern Oconee County. So several areas that are rotating here. Let's put a track on this as it's moving through. Right there, just about 3 miles now. West of Devil's Fork State Park. If you know that area, a popular area to go visit during the summertime of Lake Jocassee, it's heading right toward that. That includes Boones Creek, Sunset at 3:42, Rocky Bottom at 3:43, and Mountain Lake Colony there just before 4 a.m. as this is an active tornado warning. We've got
The National Weather Service in Greenville-Spartanburg has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Anderson County in upstate South Carolina, southern Pickens County in upstate South Carolina, southeastern Oconee County in upstate South Carolina until 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 3:23 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 6 miles southwest of Seneca or 4 miles southeast of Westminster, moving east at 60 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Clemson, Central, Pendleton, Lake Hartwell, and Norris around 3:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Easley and Liberty around 3:50 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this dangerous thunderstorm include Oakway. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. A brief, weak tornado is likely. Mobile homes could be flipped. Falling trees can cause death or serious injury and major damage to houses. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Please report damaging winds, hail, or flooding to the National Weather Service Greenville-Spartanburg by calling toll-free 1-800-267-8101 or by posting on
through. Now looks like it's on the far end of this warning, heading toward Oakway, Earls Grove, and Townville at about 3:30. Getting new information in here, continuing with a tornado watch off toward the west as conditions continue to be favorable for that. Let's look closer at the winds within this. Watching this closely here in parts of Greenville County. We'll look at more closely at the winds within this as we're watching parts of northern Pickens County. You need to be seeking shelter here. So looking at the wind speeds, yeah, certainly some strong rotation going on right now on the Oconee-Pickens County line. We'll get in closer here and show you the areas that I'm most concerned about. Right here in parts of Pickens and Oconee County, getting in closer right there. Right there near Devils Creek State Park, northern part of Lake Jocassee, there's Highway 11. Here is Pickens County, there's Highway 8. All of this area, and you need to be seeking shelter. And it looks like we've got a new tornado warning that does include a larger area of Oconee County, which may be an extension of this tornado warning. It is. It's an extension of this tornado warning here that was in southern Oconee County. Now includes Clemson, now includes the northern part of Anderson County, the southern part of Pickens County. So this new tornado warning that was just issued does include Anderson County. So you need to be seeking shelter in the northern part of Anderson County right here as I put an ID on this new warning, which goes until 4 a.m. So the top of the hour, we've got 2 active tornado warnings here, and it's for this cell right here. We'll put a track on it as it's moving eastbound. You need to be seeking shelter if you're in Anderson County, Clemson. You're right in the path of this. The sirens are going off in Clemson right now around the university. We're seeing this cell moving on through. It's heading toward Utica at 3:31, Clemson at 3:34, Central by 3:45, and Five Forks by 3:56. It looks like that thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was 6 miles southwest of Seneca and 4 miles southeast of Westminster, and it too is moving at 60 miles per hour. Let's get into this storm cell up toward the north here. It looks like it's right over Jocassee, moving east into parts of Pickens County and then eventually Greenville County. So east of Towie by 3:27, Rocky Bottom by 3:39, Pumpkin Town by 3:48, and then Mountain Lake Colony by 3:54. So a dangerous situation with 2 active tornado warnings. In that you have basically a box that covers the entire area here out ahead of that line that gives us a better idea of the wind damage potential with this line. Here is the line, and notice the squiggly nature to it. Not sure if that's an official word, but it's what I'm going with right now, is it's basically bowing out. You got some areas north of Walhalla, and right there, you see that curving nature to that radar? In northern Pickens County, this is a very dangerous situation. If it's not a tornado on the ground, it's very likely some strong damaging winds. And same story here in Clemson. Notice the bowing segment right there. That's the concern as this line pushes off toward the east, and it's moving at about 60 miles per hour. So if it continues on its same path, it would be in Clemson at 3:37, Central by 3:49, Liberty by 3:59, and Easley at 4:07. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning, and that's something we need to watch closely because we've been seeing how these severe thunderstorm warnings will pop up and will have damaging winds, and then comes the tornado threat. So here is Ellenboro, parts of Polk and Cleveland counties, watching that closely as we go throughout the next little bit. Looks like the National Weather Service is saying that the southern part of this cell in Oconee County, Franklin County, and Stevens County now in the clear there. So let's look at the area here. We'll take a closer look at where we're where we stand with the active warnings. For you folks in Stevens County, the threat is over. You're going to see this watch or this warning box drop off right here, and it's going to take back over for this activity that's moving through Clemson. Here's a live view from our Woodruff Road Skycam. You can see what most of us are seeing right now. It's very rainy, it's very muggy, it is so warm out, and that is fueling these thunderstorms that are quickly moving toward the east. Here in Greenville, we are under a severe thunderstorm warning, which does go until 4 o'clock. Let me show you what's going on right here. All encompassing, we've got this new severe thunderstorm warning, which does include eastern Rutherford County until 4:15. We've been watching that closely here as it continues to be a dangerous situation in that neck of the woods. Down toward the south, we've got this active tornado warning, which does include northern Pickens County until 3:45. If we can take this full, I'll zoom in and show you where I'm talking about right in here. 3:45 right there. Let's put a track on this because that cell in northern Oconee County and northern Pickens County is the most dangerous cell that we have right now, along with that cell just south of it. So starting off right here, there is Lake Jocassee, there is Salem, there is Highway 11. Getting in closer right here, there's the northern part of Jocassee. The strongest winds are now bearing down. Live Super Doppler 4 HD gives us an instant look at these winds. That's one of the most powerful tools that we have in a situation like this. It's not moments later, it's seconds. From the time it hits our radar, we see it live. Jocassee, you're about to get those 60, 70 mile per hour winds, and that's exactly where I'm seeing the rotation as well. Getting in closer here, let's look closer at that wind speed. And yes, right there, we've got wind speeds here that are 60, 70 miles per hour, which could indicate potential rotation right here in parts of Jocassee. Looking at this more closely, we'll put a tracker on it as this line and this potential rotation moves toward the east into parts of Pickens County. It's moving quickly, folks, at about 60 miles per hour. So Jocassee at 329, East Otoe at 333, and then Nimmons at 338. Watching that closely. Folks, if you're watching on our Facebook page, our newsroom, watching the live feed on here, if you can tell us what's happening in your neck of the woods, what are you hearing, what are you seeing in parts of Jocassee? They're going to tell me in my ear right here, and we'll know exactly what you're seeing. And look at that, a new scan of our radar shows just like that, with this storm moving 60 miles per hour. That rotation, that strong wind is now east of Jocassee, pushing toward parts of Pickens County. So that's the concern in that area. We've got another tornado warning that's in the southern part of Pickens County and the southern part of Oconee County. Let's get into that area right here, as that is a concerning part of this warning as well. So 2 active tornado warnings within this severe box. So the severe box covers us for the strong winds that are coming through with this, and the rotation within that are in 2 spots. We've got one that's in the northern part of Jocassee, pushing through northern Pickens County. You need to be seeking shelter right now if you're in downtown Pickens, if you're in Dacusville, if you're in Pumpkin Town. This is a dangerous situation, pushing quickly off toward the east. We've also got some strong winds, I mean very strong winds now moving through Clemson. Let's get in closer here to this area in northern Anderson County too. Look at that. We've got a concerning situation now moving just south of Clemson and just south of Seneca right here, with some very strong winds with this tornado warning that is pushing off toward the east. That is a concerning area there. As we look at the Lake Hartwell Skycam, we've got lightning flickering off and on right here, as the northern part of Lake Hartwell, certainly in the path of this, you are under that tornado warning. So putting a track on this as it pushes off toward the east here, we've got Clemson, Calhoun, Pendleton, all at about 337 or 342. And you can see that lightning just lighting up the sky. So you've got a live look from our Skycam over northern Lake Hartwell, and you've also got our radar, which indicates that this could be a tornado on the ground. It does look like that rotation is strengthening here across Seneca and Clemson. I've got some very strong winds I'm clocking right here across Seneca and Clemson, heading toward the east very quickly with this tornado warning, which I do believe goes until 4 o'clock. So watching that closely, we'll get in closer here here and see what's going on right in here as Cedric Haynes joins us in here as well. So certainly some interesting signatures here showing up with our radar across two areas here with this active tornado warning, which goes until 4 o'clock. Cedric, what are you seeing there with that tornado warning? Looks like just south of Seneca and Clemson, that continues to be some of the strongest winds within that cell.
Yes, that's exactly right, Chris. Just taking a look at some of this activity here. In fact, if we go ahead on and kind of just plot some of these winds here with the velocity there, you'll be able to see here that we've got some pretty impressive wind speeds showing up here. Just not only do we have a circulation there showing up with that tornado warning till 4 a.m., but we're also seeing that we also have some very strong winds that are showing up as well here, and these winds are gusting as high as clocking, at least per radar here, indicating over 100 miles per hour there just to the south and west of Seneca over towards Clemson. So that's an indication again of some very strong winds. So we're talking about immense winds making their way just to the west of Clemson now, and then also that potential of rotation showing up as well, and that's where we could have that tornado that could be on the ground there. So we're going to be watching that here for you very closely here. So let me go ahead on and switch back over here and give you a better idea of what we've got going on here as we take a look here at the radar itself here. And this is what we're kind of used to, showing us the reflectivity. And you can see, and I just want to kind of put this in a little bit of a loop here just to give you an idea here of just kind of this rotation, this circulation. You can see kind of making its way in from west to east across Seneca and Clemson. And again, so you folks in Clemson, this is bearing down on you right now. You should be in your safe place right now. That's the lowest level of your home, the innermost room, away from outside walls and windows. And of course, you want to take something with you to the basement there, whether it's a book or a helmet or a mattress, something like that to cover your heads, because some very strong winds we know are moving in with this as well, Chris.
And Cedric, just getting word that this is a confirmed tornado on the ground right now in Clemson. Just to repeat that, this is a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado moving through Clemson right now. Folks, this is an extremely dangerous situation, and what we've been warning you about, we now have confirmation on the ground that this is a tornado in Clemson moving toward the east. Please seek shelter. We now have confirmation that this is not only radar indicated, but actually on the ground moving through a very populated area. Folks, please get on the phone, call your friends and family in Clemson. We do have confirmation here that this is a dangerous tornado located near Clemson, moving northeast now at 65 miles per hour. So putting a track on this, confirmed tornado. It'll be in Clemson at 335 if it's not already, Easley at 354, Powdersville at 401, and Berea at 406. Let's go back to velocity, because right there, if we can zoom in, that continues to be where that active tornado is on the ground. It's near Utica, just south of Highway 123. We've got an active tornado that is on the ground, confirmation, and it's moving toward Clemson. Please seek shelter right now in downtown Clemson. Get to the most inner part of your home. This is a dangerous situation moving toward downtown. There's Highway 123. We've got 63 mile per hour winds. Carson Road appears to be where the potential tornado could be. And let's get in closer right in here to Utica, see if we can get into street level. There's Highway 59 where it meets 123. Right there, our radar showing the strongest winds near Marshall Avenue, Goddard Avenue, Stribling Street right there. There's East-South 2nd Street. This is pushing off toward the east here, folks. The tornado sirens are going off. It's 3:30 in the morning. Many folks are sleeping. A dangerous situation with an active tornado on the ground right here. Trained weather spotter reports that we've continuing to see that moving toward the northeast at 65 miles per hour. So a dangerous situation. Let's pull out and give you some perspective right here as this tornado warning does include Seneca, it does include Clemson, and let's put a track right here on this in particular cell as it pushes off toward the east. And just like that, it's moved quickly toward the east. Remember, it's moving 65 miles per hour. If you got in your car and drove fast that way, it does look like the rotation is not quite as strong. But boy, that was a strong rotation there with winds over 117 miles per hour. The current rotation as it stands moving toward Norris at 339, Liberty at 343, Beverly at 345, and Easley at 348. Cedric, that was some very strong rotation. It appears to be fluctuating up and down. One to watch for sure.
Yeah, and that's, I think, something that we're going to notice as we go throughout the morning. These storms kind of cycling up and down. So what you have is a large tornado that drops to the ground. It goes for a little distance and then it lifts back to the north. But as that whole line continues to move from west to east, it also shows that we see that rotation jumping and we see more touchdowns taking place. So I think that's something. Don't let your guard down just because you see the storm maybe lifting up or the rotation weakening a little bit briefly, because as that storm continues to move off towards the east, you'll see more and more of that beginning to show on up there. So I'll come back out and zoom out just a little bit here, give you an idea here on the radar here, and we'll show you this motion here. You can see how quickly this moved from Toccoa all the way through Clemson there. We're talking within minutes here. That's how fast these storms are moving. When they're moving at 60 to 65 miles per hour, think about when you get in your car and get on the interstate and you drive at 65, 70 miles per hour, you can get somewhere pretty quickly. The same thing with this storm. It is covering a lot of distance here in a very short period of time. And also this storm is kind of rotating as well. And folks, heads up, if you're in anywhere between Piedmont, Greenville, this storm is making a beeline towards you. In fact, we can put a quick tracker on this here. I'll stop this and I'll kind of zoom it over a little bit, just a little bit better to give you an idea. And we have a new tornado warning, looks like, just maybe be popping up here towards the north of this first warning here across portions of the area. Chris, I don't know if you have some new information on that. I will go over to you and let you
yeah, still watching that one there and getting some new reports here that some damage there in Seneca near Oak Ridge Circle. It appears that a roof and building collapsed in some of those locations, so we'll continue. That's just a report right now. We're still working to get that verified, but nonetheless, that tells you that right there in that Seneca area and the Clemson area, that wind was over 100 miles per hour that we had estimated on our radar. Then got confirmation from the National Weather Service that indeed that was a large and a dangerous tornado. It appears we've got a couple of areas of rotation here to watch, and this line that is moving through is what's so dangerous. Let's pull out and show you the radar and kind of show you where we stand with the entire area, because we have an all-encompassing severe thunderstorm warning, which basically covers us for all the strong storms that are moving through the area right now.
The National Weather Service in Greenville-Spartanburg has issued a tornado warning for southeastern Transylvania County in western North Carolina, southeastern Henderson County in western North Carolina, southwestern Polk County in western North Carolina, northern Greenville County in upstate South Carolina, northeastern Pickens County in upstate South Carolina, until 4:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 3:41 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 12 miles south of Brevard, or near Table Rock State Park, moving east at 55 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Pleasant Ridge State Park and Slater, Marietta around 3:50 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Tigerville and Saluda around 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Tryon around 4:10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this dangerous thunderstorm include Glassy Mountain, Gowinsville, Pumpkintown, Cleveland, and North Saluda Reservoir. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. A brief, weak tornado is likely. Mobile homes could be flipped. Falling trees can cause death or serious injury and major damage to houses. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building.
Line is some rotation that, like Cedric said, it fluctuates up, it fluctuates down, and this is the concern as we move forward into time, that we're going to continue to see the threat for this to fluctuate up and down. So a severe thunderstorm warning is intact here for all of Greenville County, Travelers Rest included, Anderson, and embedded in this line that has winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour are little areas that are rotating here, and we saw that quickly flare up in Clemson and Seneca, where we're starting to get some signs of some damage, and that is going to be something to watch very closely here. And getting some reports back in Stevens County where this warning originated, getting more reports of some wind damage near Whitworth, 5 miles northwest of Whitworth. So watching that, getting more reports here of multiple trees down in the Seneca area near Townville Street. So multiple reports that are verifying what we've seen on our radar, and what we're continuing to see right now is 2 active tornado warnings that are in effect for parts of Pickens County, northern Anderson County. This is pushing towards you folks in Greenville County. Active tornado warnings here in this area, and you need to be taking this very seriously as we move forward. So Dale Gilbert's been watching this alongside us as well. Many of you are asking us, I see here on our stream, where do you go during a tornado warning? Dale, walk us through where you would go in a type of situation like this.
Always remember, you want to go to the lowest level you can in your home. If you have a basement, that would be great. Many homes today do not have basements, so what you want to do obviously is find that lower part of your home away from windows and doors. Smaller rooms are better than big, so a bathroom, a closet is a safer place than a big open room, and again, away from windows and doors. And if you can take a pillow or a cover for your head, that's a smart thing to do too. But again, downstairs, small rooms are better than big. Bathrooms, closets are typically good places to hide out. As we've been talking about, these are very fast-moving storms, so you won't have to be in that safe place long. But if you hear those winds really pick up, go to that safe place and keep it right here. We'll keep you up to date.
Thank you, Dale. Watching that very closely. We've got live Super Doppler 4 HD scanning our area, the back edge of this storm, now clearing northeast Georgia. So you were once under the gun. Now you're in a safe zone in some ways here. The worst of this weather now pushing into northeast Georgia, out of northeast Georgia, I should say, into South Carolina here. We've got 2 areas that are rotating here. An active tornado warning, and I've got a new warning here just issued for Greenville County. Let's get up into this. We'll turn on live Super Doppler 4 HD, and that's moving over Caesar's Head right here, moving into the northern part of Greenville County. So if you're watching us right now in areas like Tigerville, Berea, Marietta, you need to be seeking shelter right now, as there is a brand new tornado warning that is issued for this area, part of the same rotation that moved over Jocassee, northern Oconee County, that's now pushing over parts of Greenville County. A fresh scan gets in, and right there, that's our line that we're tracking. It has hail, it has winds that are in excess of 60 miles per hour, and some of that is rotating. Right here is Highway 276 leaving Caesar's Head. There's Highway 11. We've got some strong winds associated with this as you push eastbound. It's heading towards Cedar Mountain at 343, River Falls at 351, Cleveland at 354, and then Lima by 401. So getting reports there, getting more reports here out of that confirmed tornado near the Clemson-Seneca area. Multiple trees and structural damage reported in and around Seneca near Townville Street. A confirmed tornado touched down there, and we've got an active tornado warning in 2 places now. One in northern Greenville County, as you got this active rotation setting up right here near Highway 276. We'll pull out just a little bit. If you're hearing the sound of our voice here in Greenville County, if you're north of Travelers Rest, north of Tigerville, you need to be taking shelter right now. I know it's not ideal timing, but you need to wake your kids up. Get to the safest part of your home, which would be an interior part of your home, a bathroom underneath a stairwell. We've got reports here, and look at that right in there. Here we are at 343. Right there. That appears to be some strong winds, if not some circulation in the southern part of this warning right here. And we've had reports here of some major damage back toward the west as these storms are fluctuating up and down. So folks, this is an extremely dangerous situation. The potential is there for not only tornadoes, but large tornadoes. And we're seeing here along Highway 8 some very strong rotation in this area as it pushes off toward the east along Highway 288, heads up Slater, Marietta, Berea, eventually Tigerville, right in here in this area as this pushes quickly toward the east here in northern Greenville County. The sirens are going off in and around Tigerville, North Greenville University. This is pushing off toward the east here, and a fresh track puts it in Slater at 354, Cross Plains at 404, Tigerville at 405, and then Campobella at about 424. This is some strong rotation with winds that are now over 80 miles per hour. as it is moving into Greenville County out of Pickens County. So an active tornado warning there. If you're watching us in downtown Greenville, Taylors, you're not included in that tornado warning, but you are under the severe thunderstorm warning. Putting a fresh track here, Slater, Cross Plains, Tigerville, and Campobello, all within the next 30 to 45 minutes, we'll see those impacts begin to move your way. Folks, if you can safely do so, please let us know what you're seeing via Facebook Messenger. Our news team watching our Facebook page right now, please let us know what you're hearing, what you're seeing, so that we can keep folks safe as we watch this as it moves on through. Dana Griffin, Amanda Crawford watching this very closely. Our Facebook page, our live stream right now as we're watching this closely there. As we continue to see dangerous situations moving on through. Getting new reports here of multiple trees down, some of them 3 feet in diameter, with building and vehicular damage, that in the Seneca Historical District. So just confirmation more of what we've seen with that confirmed tornado that touched down near the Seneca area and moved through parts of Clemson as well. So 2 active tornado warnings with this line. It's a line that's moving through right here, and then embedded in that line are a couple of areas of active tornado warnings right here. We'll click this first one. This is where we had the confirmed damage. Looks like the National Weather Service kind of confining this tornado warning here along Highway 123. This is where we saw the damage out of this same rotation that is now along Highway 123, and this new warning that is issued does go, it's just a continuation of it. New warning does include folks that are in Easley and Liberty. So heads up, Easley and Liberty and parts of Pickens County, this new warning does include you, and this does look like some stronger rotation.
The National Weather Service in Greenville-Spartanburg has issued a tornado warning for East Central Greenville County in upstate South Carolina, Northwestern Spartanburg County in upstate South Carolina, East Central Pickens County in upstate South Carolina, until 4:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 3:50 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 5 miles northeast of Easley, or near Berea, moving northeast at 75 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Taylors, GSP Airport, and Lake Robinson around 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Lyman, Welford, Inman, Duncan, and Greer around 4:10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. A brief, weak tornado is likely. Mobile homes could be flipped. Falling trees can cause death or serious injury and major damage to houses. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Please report damaging winds, hail, or flooding to the National Weather Service Greenville-Spartanburg by calling toll-free 1-800-267-8101 or by posting on our Facebook page or tweet it using hashtag NWSGSP.
Here's Highway 123. You need to be seeking shelter in this area. The sirens are going off. We've got winds over 60 miles per hour. The rotation continues to be very strong in this area. You need to wake your kids up. If you're hearing this on Facebook, on TV, it's time to get them to a safe place in the house. A bathroom, a stairwell. Try to keep them calm. Make it an inviting environment. Blankets, pillows. Maybe they'll fall back asleep in that safe area if they're little ones like I have. But you need need to take this serious here in parts of Pickens County, as we have had significant damage from a confirmed tornado with this same rotation that touched down near Seneca and Clemson. Now it's moving towards you folks in Easley. Heads up, as this same cell, if it continues into Greenville County, would be heading toward Travelers Rest at 403. Wade Hampton at 406. That's the Wade Hampton Boulevard area there. So two active areas of rotation, one right here and another one looks like it's just north of there, as this continues to be an evolving situation. Look at these wind speeds here in south of Pumpkin Town. Let's ID some of these just east of Highway 8 right there, heading toward Dacusville. Yep, we got 80-mile-per-hour winds pushing off toward the east as this is pushing quickly towards you folks in Dacusville. Just south of there, we've got another cell that's very severe here that appears to have winds in excess of 70, 80 miles per hour as well. So two cells right in there that may not be circulating with a tornado, but continue to indicate active, strong winds that could be in excess of 80 miles per hour. Looking at this closely as we put a track on it here, it's heading towards Slater at 357, Lima at 402, and Tigerville at 408. So continuing to be a dangerous situation as we watch this cell as it moves off toward the east, and live Super Doppler 4 HD indicating hail possible in these as well, as we have this active tornado warning in the northern part of Greenville County. There's Caesar's Head, there's Slater Marietta, there's Travelers Rest. We've got very strong winds, and indicated here by our rotation, there's Highway 288. We've got very strong rotation in this neck of the woods that's pushing eastbound. There's Dacusville Road. So Dacusville, you need to be seeking shelter. Get to the innermost part of your home. You need to be getting away from windows, as live Super Doppler 4 HD, our very own radar, gives us a perfect look at this storm from all angles. We're able to tap into the GSP radar and our radar and look at both of these cells as they move through the area. And this one right here has had a history of producing a confirmed tornado and damage that was significant in the Seneca and in the Clemson area. And Cedric, we've been watching both of these. They're all part of this main line that has winds over 80 miles per hour with it, but we're seeing from time to time that those winds continue to rotate in some instances within this line.
That's exactly right, and as expected. And so as this line moves east, you can notice how it's kind of bowing out. I'll kind of draw that here for you so you can get an idea and see here. But you see how it kind of extends out like a bow and arrow there? That's an indication that the winds are very strong behind this line, and they're pushing the line forward here. And so it's bowing out as it makes its way into downtown Greenville at this time. But along that line, we're also seeing rotation. So some individual cells there that are able to rotate, and those are what's producing that potential tornado activity across the area. So we have two different storms or storms that are basically isolated by themselves a little bit along this line that are possibly producing tornadoes, and that's what we're watching. So again, the first one that you can see here, and I'll turn on our wind product here, our velocity product, to show you that rotation. You can see here we've got one of those kinks that are beginning to rotate now that has a tornado warning out for the northern half of portions of Greenville and over towards portions of the northern half of the area there as you get towards Cleveland and making its way towards Slater right now. And that area there, we're also seeing that we have some very strong winds being indicated by our radar, estimating here that we've got those winds anywhere in excess of, let's say, 60, 70, 80 miles per hour going towards the radar site and going away. So that's what we mean when we say green and red. So when those meet or come together like you see there just west of Slater, that means that we have rotation, because those are showing winds going away from radar in red and winds going toward the radar in green. So you get an idea where that rotation is. So that's one area that we're concerned about, that we're watching. And then as we look just off to the south of that, the other storm that has a tornado warning on it as well, that you can see now, a new tornado warning, looks like it has been extended now for portions of Greenville, Pickens, and Spartanburg County as well. And this will go till 4:15 this morning here. So I'll try to get some information on that as it was just issued here for you. But basically, we're watching this severe thunderstorm here that is basically here sitting, we'll say here, just about 5 miles northeast of Easley, and it's moving off towards the north here. So some of those areas moving to the northeast, and get this, at 75 miles per hour. So, Chris, I mean, just imagine you getting in your car. If you were heading down, let's say, Wade Hampton Boulevard, driving at 75, that'd be pretty fast. You get pretty far in a quick amount of time, but that's how fast this storm is actually moving. That tells us we have a lot of low-level energy and wind energy helping to move these storms along, right?
That's exactly right, Cedric. And watching this closely, we've had a history of this producing confirmed tornado damage back toward the Seneca, Clemson area. Let's start over for where you're at. Many of you just awoken by the sirens going off here in Greenville County. Cedric, if we can put that back in play mode at the beginning, I'll kind of drive this for a little bit here, as this is a new tornado warning that does include downtown Greenville. Downtown Greenville, you are now under a tornado warning as we continue to see multiple areas of rotation within this. This tornado watch does include our entire area until 8 o'clock, and a new tornado watch includes most of the state of South Carolina. So that's where we stand from a wide angle look at this. But looking in closer here, we've got an active tornado warning that does include parts of Greenville County, a large part of Greenville County right in here. So watching this closely as we move on through the area here, as this area has had a history of producing damage. The same cell that moved through Clemson and Seneca is now moving into parts of Pickens County, and then a large part of Greenville County now in this warning that does include downtown Greenville right here. Here at the TV station, we're just north of downtown Greenville, and folks, we may need to take this serious here at the TV station here. This is a strong rotation, likely strong tornado that moved through parts of Pickens and Oconee County. So folks, just be on alert upstairs as we're watching this closely. I want you to be safe as we're watching this. Watching the velocity right here, it does appear that this has wind speeds in this part of Greenville County that are 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. We've seen it rotate from time to time, and this rotation is right here in the northern part of Greenville County. So getting in closer here, Greenville proper, I should say. So parts of Easley, it looks like it's right over you, moving through Glenwood and Hale into the community of Crosswell. There's a Saluda right there. So it's going to be we're going to be watching that closely. Here's a look at our Peace Center Skycam. We're not a mile from where this is, and we are seeing some very strong winds and some very heavy rainfall here moving through this part of Greenville County. Coming up on 4 a.m. right here. Let's get back to our radar network as we continue to see some strong winds move through. There is that cell that's moving along Highway 183 as it pushes into parts of Greenville County. Watching that closely because it has had a history of producing some damage here back toward the west. So a couple of active tornado warnings. We've got the one in northern Greenville County, which includes Tigerville, areas like North Greenville University, and then we've got this other cell that's moving through downtown Greenville very shortly. So watching both of these, and in fact our velocity tool that we have here allows us to see inside of this storm, allows us to see all angles of it to see if it's rotating. And right now I'm seeing that this is some very strong winds in this that are in excess of 80 miles per hour at times. So looking at this as a new radar scan comes to us, we've got the strong winds now moving through Travelers Rest, approaching Taylors and Greer. If you're hearing the sound of our voice, I know it's not an okay time to be doing this, but it's one of those situations that you need to be seeking shelter right now. And Dale Gilbert, we're watching this closely because this has had a history of being a very dangerous storm cell.
Thank you, Chris, and Cedric doing a great job. We want to remind people, if you're in a situation where you hear those winds all of a sudden really pick up and it feels dangerous where you are, you need to go to the lower level of your home. A small room like a bathroom or a closet is a better safety place than a big open room, and obviously you want to be away from windows and doors to the outside. So lower part of your home, if you have a basement, that's even safer. A lot of homes today do not, but a lower part of your home, small room like a closet or a bathroom without windows is a good place to take refuge for that short period of time. This has got a very fast-moving system this morning, and we've been seeing these 60, 70, 80-plus mile per hour winds and moving at 60-plus miles per hour. So it's a very fast happening event, and if you find yourself in one of those areas where you're experiencing those strong winds, play it safe. Go to that safe room, closet, bathroom, lower level of the home to hide out for a few minutes.
Thank you, Dale. Continuing to get those reports in from the Seneca area, multiple reports of trees down and large trees. The National Weather Service saying in the Seneca area that tornado that touched down, knocking down trees that were 3 feet wide in diameter. So a very dangerous situation as we continue to see active rotation in this. Let's get a wider look right here and show you where we stand with the area, because this is an active line that's pushing through that has winds with it that are over 60 miles per hour, but within that we also have rotation that is giving us some tornadoes. And we had a confirmed tornado near the Seneca area that touched down near Seneca, moved through parts of Clemson. Now we have 2 active areas of rotation that includes the downtown Greenville area. It also includes northern Greenville County, such as Tigerville, North Greenville University. This first warning right here includes that area, and it's pushing quickly off toward the east. And we've got a new warning here that does extend all the way out to parts of Spartanburg County. So getting into this cell right here, as if it continues on its same path, this rotation that's in Pickens County is going to move through downtown Greenville, the Wade Hampton Boulevard area, and then push through Lyman Lake, parts of Lyman, Inman, and then get into downtown Spartanburg if it continues on its same path. So let's put a fresh track on this for you as it moves through these areas. There is where that circulation originated. It's continuing through downtown Greenville, and if it continues at its same path, would be in Berea at 407, Greenville at 414, Greer at 428, and then Lyman by 437. Let's get in and take a surveillance of a closer look at some of these wind speeds that are in this. They have been clocked by our radar at over 80 miles per hour, and continuing to see some of that right in there. Heads up in Travelers Rest, the Cherrydale area, some very strong winds now moving in that direction. And Cedric, this is where the tornado warning lies right here, and this is a serious situation to watch because it's some of that same rotation that touched down that tornado back towards Seneca and Clemson.
Exactly, Chris. And again, we've got this activity cycling, or basically the rotation lifting up into the sky and then coming back down. And so that tells us that this is still a very active storm system. It still has the environment to continue to strengthen and create that potential tornado across the area. So again, looking on the north side of Greenville right now, we have one area that we're watching for that strong rotation. It's actually right now just near or to the south and east of Travelers Rest, and that continues to lift on out towards the north and east. So folks just south of Tigerville want to be keeping that aware of that. This is a storm system that could be heading your way very soon, so you may want to go down and take shelter. And again, when we say take shelter, go to the lowest level of your home, the innermost room or your basement if you have that. And of course, don't forget to take something with you to cover your head, because most injuries occur due to head injuries or due because of a wind that continues to blow debris around and can hit you in the head there. So be aware of that. Grab a bicycle helmet, a mattress off the bed, something to cover your head, and don't forget your shoes as well, because obviously in these storms, if you have to walk around in debris, you definitely want to have something on your feet. You don't want to be stepping on anything that could cause more injuries down the line. And of course, again, make sure that you have a way of getting these alerts here while we're down that way. But we continue to watch that rotation as it continues to cycle here, and I'll just kind of give you an overview or a loop of this here over the past hour or so, or 30 minutes, and you can kind of see how this has kind of made its way into Travelers Rest from the west, over from Pickens County and over towards Liberty as well, and now making its way through Travelers Rest and heading towards you in the Greer area. So you need to be aware of that. Also, we've got more activity on the south side of Greer as well that could be producing some rotation, or at least at the very least some very strong winds showing up with that as well. So just to give you an overview of this, again, we have a line of storms, and you can see this line of storms here that kind of is bowing out. So you see it right now through Travelers Rest and just to the north and west of Greenville here. That's the entire line that continues to push east. But within that line, we've got some individual areas that are continuing to rotate. Again, one around the Travelers Rest area, and then we've got another area here trying to rotate on the northwest side of Greenville as well. And that's where your tornado potential will lie as well, as this whole line continues to push on out towards the east. Not only are we talking about some very strong winds, but some torrential rainfall as well. In fact, driving in on my way into the station here about an hour ago, I can tell you here that just right outside the station here that we do also have some damage as well. Construction fence is actually blown over right now onto the main roadway there. So the winds are doing some havoc outside of any tornado wind damage as well. So all of that is something that we're watching here as this continues to work its way on through the area, Chris.
Yeah, Cedric, thank you for that. Watching these areas that are still rotating here in parts of Travelers Rest, I can tell you it's now moving through parts of Taylors and Greer. We'll get in closer to some of this activity that's pushing on through. If we'll put it in play mode right here, I'll be able to access some of that data. We're accessing also the National Weather Service radar right here, which is where some of this activity is coming right over. But what we can tell you right now is that we've had a confirmed large tornado touch down in the Seneca area, and the reports are just pouring into the newsroom right here. We have a crew that is on the way as they can safely do so. As you can imagine, with the wind damage, it's pretty difficult to get into situations like that, but we're continuing to get reports of trees on homes, trees on cars. We just want you to stay safe, and if you can do so, please let us know from the safety of your home what you heard, what you saw on our Facebook page right now. That's the best way to get in touch with our anchors right now in our newsroom, to let us know what you saw in your neck of the woods. But folks, I got to tell you, that same cell that produced the tornado in Seneca and Clemson is now pushing through parts of Greenville County, and we have active tornado warnings here at the 4 o'clock hour. So if you're hearing the sirens, if you're under this tornado warning in parts of downtown Greenville, you need to be seeking shelter, because it is heading into parts of Spartanburg County as well. I know many of you are watching our Facebook stream right now. Maybe your power is flickering on and off. We are going to stay on as conditions continue to stay dangerous in these areas. There is downtown Greenville under the tornado warning. There is Spartanburg under the tornado warning. A very dangerous situation here, part of the same cell that produced the rotation in the confirmed tornado near Seneca, and this rotation continues to push through downtown. Live Super Doppler 4 HD giving us a close look at that. Let's turn on our velocity. Basically, velocity means it's the wind sample here, and we continue to see the rotation in this area of Greenville County near Lake Robinson. Zooming in right in here, I'll show you exactly where that rotation is, as we're seeing some very strong winds that are in excess of 60, 70, even 80 miles per hour. So if you're familiar with this part of Greenville County, there's Lake Robinson, there's Lake Cunningham, there's Milford. That continues to be where the strongest rotation is, and it's pushing quickly off toward the east right in here. There's Highway 101, there's Highway 14, there is downtown Greer. So Milford over toward Appalachie Lake, right around 403, 409. So any moment now, as this cell is pushing east at 65 miles per hour. So you get the picture. You hop in your car and you drive east. It's going to be a quick drive from Lake Cunningham to Lake Robinson, and you add in the fact that this doesn't have to drive on roads. It's moving very quickly into Spartanburg County. So you're next in the threats right here. And just like that, we've got an active severe thunderstorm warning, which basically includes the line that's going to be moving through our area. So this is two threats. You've got the straight line winds, and you've also got the rotation that's moving through this as well. So parts of Spartanburg County, Lawrence County, you're now included in this severe thunderstorm warning, which goes until 4:45 for this area, and it's for this line that is moving through. I'll put the radar back on, and we'll show you exactly what we're talking about here, because this line that's moving through parts of Greenville County and Anderson County, it has very strong wind. In Anderson downtown, you're about to get some of that strong wind. Honeypath, parts of Piedmont, into parts of Simpsonville and Malden. This is all heading your way. Let me put a fresh track on this strong wind aspect of it here as it moves on through the area here. So giving you my tracker tool right there into Anderson County. This is moving 65 miles per hour off toward the east. So it puts it in Greenville at 412. Heads up Malden. You've got some very strong winds in excess of 60 miles per hour heading towards you by 421. Fountain Inn at 434, Pauline at 455. Inside of this strong line is some rotation. And Cedric, we've been watching this because it does look like some of this line is starting to bow out again, and that's a clear indication that not only do we have strong winds, but potentially some rotation within this line.
Yes, Chris, and you know, I appreciate that you're mentioning here about this strong winds as well, because that's something I think when we talk about the tornado warnings, we do highlight the fact that there's an imminent threat with the tornadoes, but also this entire line is producing the potential of widespread 60+ mile per hour winds, producing some wind damage out there as well. In fact, I want to go ahead on and switch over and just show you the velocity product here, just to give you an idea here. It's also one asking about the Anderson area just a little while ago. And of course, from Anderson over towards Princeton right now and Fountain Inn, we have some very strong winds showing up right as we speak here. We're identifying some winds here with radar under a severe thunderstorm warning, but we're identifying some of these winds here in this area here that are about about 60 to 65, 70 miles per hour here. And this is widespread here from Iowa over towards Anderson, Princeton, due west, and this is making its way towards the east. So as this entire line is producing that potential of damaging winds, we're also getting that threat of those spin-up tornadoes here that are developing along the line. But just because you're not under a tornado warning does not mean that you don't need to let your guard down here, because we're still looking at damaging winds. And you can see again that complete line of storms here as it continues to approach areas from just west of Peltzer over towards Anderson, basically right along I-85 right now, just to the west there, northwest of Anderson here. And again, moving off towards the east at about 60, 65 miles per hour. It's not going to take long for it to be in places like the Piedmont area, over towards Malden and Woodruff, and over towards Lawrence here. So this is headed your way. So even though you may not be under a tornado warning, you're talking about potential of damaging winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. And let me tell you, it is already producing some damage across the area, despite having those winds, making the strongest winds at least, making their way into the area just yet. As I was mentioning earlier on my drive in, lots of tree branches down, lots of fences down, lots of things like that where the wind gets up underneath them and can help lift them and carry them a little easier. Yeah, those are already coming down. So with these strong winds coming in, we're going to see more in the way of that taking place there. But don't let your guard down just because you're not under a tornado warning, because we're also looking at some very strong damaging winds that continue to make their way area wide with this line, which is moving 65 to 75 miles per hour. Just let that sink in for a moment. A car on the interstate moves at 60, 75 miles per hour. So that tells you that not only is this moving very fast and can cover a lot of ground, but also the forward speed of that is going to help push any chance of damaging winds off towards the east faster and make those winds speed up as well. So something to definitely keep in mind.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cedric. Watching this closely as it pushes off toward the east. There's live Super Doppler 4 HD. We've got two threats with this, the strong straight line winds and then the rotation that's bubbling up inside of this. Here in Anderson County, you can see that strong wind coming through right now. We'll zoom into this and show you parts of that velocity, because it does appear that we've got some strong winds here now moving through right downtown Anderson, pushing off toward the east. Southern Anderson County, very strong winds. Abbeville County, due west, Cokesbury, Lawrence, all in the path of this as it continues to move on through this area. So a severe thunderstorm warning for this area with the strong winds that are in excess of 60 miles per hour. So heads up Princeton, heads up Lawrence, heads up Clinton and Joanna, all within the next 45 minutes to 1 hour. You will see this line of very heavy rain, strong winds move your way as live Super Doppler 4 HD gives us a fresh scan of that. Let's go back up to our tornado warnings right now. Take a close look at those, because in this severe thunderstorm warning, we also have areas that have had a history of producing rotation. In fact, that confirmed tornado back toward the Seneca-Clemson area, that same rotation moved into parts of Pickens County, Greenville County, and now we're starting to see some of that interact with Greenville and Spartanburg County as we look at Taylors, Greer, Lyman, Inman, all areas that could see some of this rotation shortly, and getting some significant damage reports out of Seneca. Homes with roof damage, trees, large trees down. So it's evident that this same cell that is moving through parts of Greenville County did produce a tornado back toward the west. We've got 50-mile-per-hour winds right here on the Greenville-Spartanburg County line near Glassy Mountain. There's Highway 11 toward Gowensville, parts of Campobello. 357, we've got some very strong winds moving through this area. There's Blue Ridge and Highway 101. This is now east of you. So some very strong winds in that area, and the active tornado warning, which does include Greenville and Spartanburg County. There's Tiger, there's Lyman, there's Highway 29, there's Lake Cunningham. So seriously, some strong winds moving through this area, and it's from this line right here that continues to kind of snake its way, if you will, across the area. And anytime you see it curve like this, it just shows you that parts of it are trying to outrun other parts. There's Campobello, there's Inman, there's Boiling Spring. So seriously, some strong winds moving through this area with some indications of possibly some hail showing up in parts of this as well. So Cedric, this is a multi-threat. You've got the flooding threat, you've got the flood threat, and this same cell that moved through Seneca and Clemson is now pushing through parts of Greenville and Spartanburg counties.
Then that flood threat is going to be something that we're going to be continuing to see ramping up across portions of northeast Georgia into the upstate as we go throughout the next hour or so. And I'll tell you, it's been ramped up all overnight time as we've gone throughout the mountains here, as we've had multiple rounds of heavy rainfall for areas north and west of, let's say, Asheville and Hendersonville. You've received just quite a bit of rain as you've been kind of stuck in that train of rain all throughout the evening hours, while many of us were receiving a break. And so that rain now continuing to come down, and heavy at times, is causing some issues here. And then, of course, we're watching out for the severe weather and the tornado threat as well. And again, we've got kind of two areas we're watching. One area here making its way up just to the south of Landrum now as it continues to make its way, getting ready to cross over near Highway 11 there. You can see as it continues to lift off to the north and east there. That little area that you see kind of snaking back here, I'll stop this here, and you can see it kind of looks like a little comma showing up there, a little comma head there. That gives us an indication here where we have some rotation showing up in there. And the fact that is that we could even have a little hail showing up here also with that between Tigerville and just to the south of Landrum there. So that's one area that we're keeping a very close eye on. And then the other area here is making its way up here. We've kind of lost the rotation, but just to the north and west of Greenville, we're keeping a very close eye on that. So while we still have that tornado warning in effect, again, some of these storms are kind of cycling and going back down, so we're keeping an eye on that. And then there's just a straight line wind of damaging winds stretching from Piedmont down towards Anderson, crossing over 85, and that's pushing on off towards the east. But look at all of the yellow and red that's showing up, an indication of very heavy rainfall that is continuing to make its way in even before the severe storms actually arrive in your neighborhood, Chris.
Cedric, that wind that is moving through Greenville County, very strong. An SS of 60 miles per hour. We've got this active tornado warning, which does include much of Greenville County. This is from the same cell that produced the confirmed tornado back towards Seneca. Our very own Nigel Robertson joins us right now on the phone. And Nigel, you live in Greenville County. You're in your safe spot right now in your home. Can you tell us what you've heard, what you've seen in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, Chris, pretty much all night long, we've been hearing the rain pounding on the roof of the house and the winds picking up and kind of calming down, and then it would all start back again. So, been really just watching the coverage right here on WYFF News 4 as this storm kind of moved to this area, and the rain all of a sudden just began, really hitting hard and the wind howling, and that's when we realized that, it's probably time that we need to be down in our laundry room. So I've got myself, my wife, and my 3 kids, and the dog, and we are basically just hunkered down. We've got 2 phones. I've got the charger, and my wife has some water, and we're just in here kind of hunkering down, just kind of waiting for this entire system to move over us right now.
Glad to hear you're safe there, Nigel. It looks like some of that strongest rotation is just to your south over Greenville County, some very strong winds. Can you tell me, as that system moved through, did the sirens go off? You were watching WYFF4. I believe you had a weather watcher in your home kind of watching these cells move through. How did your night unfold like that?
Yeah, really. So I didn't hear any sirens, but definitely all my phones, all my devices, my Apple Watch, all of that went off. And, so I knew when it was hitting the Clemson area because of our coverage. I knew when it was hitting the Clemson area, and that's when I knew, all right, then if it's hitting the Clemson area, and as you were talking about, as it came out from the eastern side of Georgia, I knew that, all right, this is moving towards us, so I need to be up. We need to be paying attention. My wife is downstairs with the boys watching on the TV, and I was upstairs with my phones, kind of just watching everything. And really, it truly is a waiting game. You're just waiting to see what this storm is going to do, what the winds are going to do in the rain, and just trying to stay following WYFF4, following your forecast, just trying to stay ahead of it just to keep everyone safe. I will say, too, we've alerted people within the neighborhood, just, hey, get up. So you had mentioned, reach out to your friends, tell people that this is serious and it's about to be on us, and that's what we did. Just send out text messages to people in the neighborhood, our loved ones, and just make sure people know so that when this comes over us, that we are prepared.
Well, Nigel, so good to hear that you're doing okay there in Greenville County. Like so many in and around Greenville County today, waking up to the sounds of those sirens, and it's not over. I want to show you live Super Doppler 4 HD right now as this line that is moving through. You can see the line basically from southern Polk County all the way through Spartanburg County, kind of snaking its way back through downtown Greenville near the Cherrydale area. Our station sits right here. I can tell you the tornado warning has been canceled with the active rotation weakening, but I can tell you the strong winds are just as dangerous with this cell as it moves through parts of downtown Greenville, parts of Piedmont, Simpsonville. Let's get into the southern end of this because it looks like that side of it trying to catch up here in southern Greenville County. So areas like Simpsonville up and down the Golden Strip from Malden could have some very strong winds here. There's Powdersville. There's where our live Super Doppler 4 HD radar sits. Some very strong winds. Carlton Avenue here. There's 185. There's 25 as this pushes on through here. So seriously, some serious heavy wind and rain moving through this area. Putting a track on some of this and looking at some of the wind speeds in this, we'll take a look at our velocities, which give us a great idea of the wind speeds within this. So Piedmont, Highway 25, southern Greenville County seeing some of the strongest winds. Let's give you some perspective here, pull out a little bit and show you what we're seeing in this neck of the woods here across the southeast as we've seen some very strong winds moving through, some active tornado warning south of the Augusta area along Highway or I-20, I should say. Turning on our radar network, which gives us access to the Atlanta radar, the Columbia radar. It's this line right here that is the concerning line. It looks like you've got a leading edge of this line that's now pushing toward the I-77 corridor here, which is taking on a very severe aspect of that as well, with another aspect of that being closer to home. And that appears to be moving through parts of Greenville, parts of Spartanburg, parts of Anderson County, all within the next 15 to 20 minutes, depending on where you live, as this active severe thunderstorm warning is in place right here. And this kind of curve signature to that moving through right here. In Cedric, we're hearing the rain coming down hard and heavy outside of our studios right here, as some of the heaviest of this rain moving through right here near our studios in downtown Greenville. Thankfully, the rotation has slacked up with that, but the wind is still a very big concern. And with this S shape to that line, can't rule out some more rotation.
And that's right. Not only more rotation, but also some very strong winds despite having a tornado on the ground or not. We're talking about widespread chances of wind. I want to show you that severe thunderstorm warning that we have right now currently across the area here because it is a large warning. So notice anywhere from Travelers Rest to Greenville, down towards Anderson, over towards Spartanburg, Lawrence, we're all under this warning here. And this warning has been extended a little farther towards the east to include you folks in Union as well. And that will go until 5:15 this morning. And basically, I point that out to let you know that strong damaging winds are possible anywhere in that yellow shaded box. So that is a widespread area. So despite right now not having the tornado warning in effect, we still have that potential of those damaging winds that could cause some serious problems. And you're going to really feel those winds picking up. Now let me show you and put the radar back on here so you get an idea here. And you can see we've had this first line pushing on in now. We've seen this line kind of rushing out ahead and bowing out, showing us that those winds are rushing out and gusting ahead of that storm. So it looks like we have a new line that's trying to develop now over towards portions of Union and just to the east of Gaffney now. And so as that continues to develop here, we'll continue to watch back to the west and southwest to see if we see any more of these storms becoming a little more discreet. But we can see that that line continues to work its way through. Right now, as we kind of zoom out a little bit, I don't see too much developing right now near Atlanta and Athens, but I'm going to watch that area at least for another hour or so as the back energy of the storm system catches up. But again, for everyone right now, we're seeing torrential rain and also some very strong winds, and that could produce some damage as well and bring down some trees on power lines, knock out some power, and also create more issues in terms of what if you don't have any secured items or items outside secured, those could be blowing around in the wind as well. So you want to be aware of that here. But torrential rain, the potential of flash flooding. Again, right now it's still dark outside, so keep this in mind. It's very hard to see the roadways and the conditions of the road in front of you. So if you see water on the roads, don't try to drive through that water, okay? Turn around, don't drown. And I say that not just because we don't know how deep the water is, but we also, of course, with all the severe weather, we really don't know the shape of the roadway itself. And some of that road could be washed out underneath that water, and you go to drive through it and you realize that too late. So a lot of concerns right now as this continues to move on through. Again, the damaging wind and the flooding threat is definitely kind of ramping up a little bit. But right now, thankfully, the tornado threat is not we don't have any active warnings, but at any moment, we could see a warning be reissued here as this kind of cycles on through, as this whole line kind of pushes on off towards the east. So, Chris, I know that's kind of what we're watching for right now.
Yeah, the concern here is for this line that's producing strong winds, and inside of that line, it appears we could get some rotation. It looks like we've got two lines that are trying to form here, with this leading edge trying to take over as the strongest part of this. If you're just now tuning in, maybe the heavy rain woke you up. If the sirens didn't, we do have some damage in the Seneca-Clemson area, which does appear to be from a confirmed large tornado, with multiple large trees down across a large part of Seneca. We have crews that are actively trying to get to that area, but you can imagine we're being very safe in doing so. So we will get you that latest information and a report from there as soon as we can. There is Surratt, there is Union, some of this leading edge of this line producing some of the strongest winds right now, which is pushing toward the I-77 corridor, while back toward the west, we still have some very heavy rainfall in parts of Spartanburg County. So watching this closely, Amanda and Dana, you guys have been watching our Facebook stream and keeping a toll on the power outages across the area, and this damage back toward the west has been significant in some areas.
We're actually getting a lot of damage reports in from Seneca, hearing there are a lot of large trees down, like you've been saying, Chris. And we're actually joined now by Danny Huff on the phone. Danny, can you hear us?
Yes.
Danny, are you there for us?
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
Well, Danny emailed into the newsroom saying that a tornado he thought came through his yard, and about 20 large oak trees came crashing down, some on his house, and he said his car is crushed. So we are hoping that Danny and his family are safe right now and that his house doesn't have too much damage. Again, Danny, can you hear us? If he can't hear us right now, we'll do our best to get him. Okay, can you hear us, Danny?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello?
Okay.
Can you explain to us what you saw? You're in Seneca right now. What happened when you heard the tornado warning or saw the wind or the damage?
We didn't hear a tornado warning, but we could just hear the wind and the trees crashing down on the house. But it's widespread in this area. I've been talking to my neighbors, and they've got the same situation. Cars crushed. Trees down everywhere. My neighbor's got a large pecan tree on his deck, but it just pretty much destroyed all of our trees here.
On home right now? Are you the only one home right now? Are you and your family safe, Danny?
Yeah, we're all safe. We got a line. Power
I'll ask one more
line
time,
out.
Danny, are you right now in a place where you and your family are safe?
Yes, we just don't have any coffee.
All right, we'll work to get a better connection with Danny, but as you heard him say, he could hear that storm roll through. We did have, as Chris said, a confirmed tornado in the Seneca area, and Danny believes that is the system that came right through his yard, knocking down about 20 large trees. He said he's spoken with his neighbors who saw the same thing. Lots of trees down, some on top of their decks, on top of their roofs, on top of their vehicles. Danny told us his vehicle was crushed. If you're watching us right now, we hope that you are in your safe space. If you are in this line of storms, if you're in an area where the system has already moved through and it is safe for you to do so, we'd welcome any photos or videos that you can send us of the damage so that we can help tell this story to our viewers and show them how strong this system is as it's been moving so fast through our area. You're taking a look at a sky camera right now out over Greenville. You can see the rain coming down hard as that system moved through this area. Chris and Cedric are tracking this closely. I'm not sure if we have any other views of sky cameras to show you kind of some different perspectives of our area right now.
We've also seen
this
some
looks like
lightning
it's
there
in
as well.
Downtown, our Peace Center sky camera over downtown Greenville. Yeah, lots of lightning and lots of wind.
And a good point to download our mobile app. We appreciate if you're watching us right now, but if you happen to lose power, it's important to download that app, charge your phones, charge your tablets right now so that you can still access information in case this happens to move through your area.
We've also got thousands of power outages in our area, working to get updates from Duke Energy. They were anticipating this. They sent out an alert over the weekend saying, we know that a lot of you have stocked up your refrigerators right now because of the coronavirus outbreak. So many people have been going to the grocery store, stocking up their food, and their freezer and the refrigerator. So power outages will have a large impact on people. You can see them on your screen right now. Again, thousands of outages in our area. Again, like we said, Cedric and Chris and Dale have all been tag teaming this, tracking this system closely. Chris, what's the latest now?
Yeah, I can tell you what we know right now is that a tornado touched down near the Seneca area and then moved through parts of Clemson before lifting up. Some strong winds then moved through parts of Anderson County, Greenville County, parts of EAS. Had some storm damage, whether it be from straight line winds or a tornado. But looking back at this, it looks like the worst of this rotation, strongest part of this rotation, touched down right here near Clemson just before 3:30 or so as it rolled on through the area here. Very warm, unstable conditions out ahead of this as this line pushed on through. As this line moved through right there is when we were concerned that this could possibly be a tornado around the Seneca area, Clemson area, as this pushed on through the area. Strong winds moved out of Georgia, moved across the Oconee County line, and then right there we clocked winds over 118 miles per hour right there just south of Seneca. It appears right in here is where the tornado touched down with 117 mile per hour winds estimated by our radar right there. And this is where we had multiple reports of significant damage from the National Weather Service reporting 3-foot diameter trees, several of them knocked down in the historic district of Seneca, and that same cell pushed through parts of Clemson right there with a confirmed large tornado that was on the ground for a period of time. Now, as it moved eastbound, some of that rotation lifted somewhere here between Clemson and Calhoun along Highway 133 and continued to have strong winds as it pushed into Greenville County, which prompted warnings in and around Greenville County. Now, let me show you where we stand right now for Greenville County, because many of you are messaging on our Facebook page that you're still in your safe place. It's a good thing to do so because we still have some strong winds, but I can tell you our threat for tornadoes looking a bit lower here across Greenville County with some very heavy rainfall. Let's take a closer look at those wind speeds as we have gusty winds out there in excess of 40-50 miles per hour, but it appears that quickly that threat is shifting toward the east into parts of Lawrence County and Spartanburg County. This severe thunderstorm warning goes for another 15 minutes until 4:45, and it appears that the leading edge of this line is now the most severe part of it that's pushing toward the I-77 corridor. But we've still got some very strong winds between Williamston and Princeton here, 60+ mile per hour straight line winds along the Greenville County, Lawrence County line, pushing quickly toward Enoree, Lawrence, Clinton, parts of Ware Shoals, seeing some very strong winds near Cokesbury, due west. You've got the wind coming so strong, and you've got the rain coming down very heavily along Highway 420 right there, pushing toward the east. 56 mile per hour winds just south of Princeton right here, 55 miles per hour right in here, pushing towards you folks in downtown Lawrence. And this line is moving at about 60 miles per hour in and of itself, so it's pushing quickly off toward the east. I'll show you live Super Doppler 4 HD. Gives us an instant look at where the strong rain and heavy rain is, and those winds as well. Looking at this activity toward Union County, this is the activity that's pushing toward Rock Hill, parts of the I-77 corridor. You've got very strong winds in Union County down toward Whitmire, winds in excess of 60 miles per hour in these locations. And pulling out just a bit, this is all part of that main line that continues to push through our area. It's what we've been tracking all day long, part of the same system that produced dangerous tornadoes and unfortunately deadly tornadoes in parts of Mississippi, and that continued through Alabama, Georgia, and now into the Carolinas, into our neck of the woods. So we still have an active severe thunderstorm warning with gusty winds in excess of 50-60 miles per hour, and now is a great time to take note of your house. Where are where are the tall trees around your house? You might want to get to the other side of that house until this storm passes on through. And now's a good time to make sure your cell phone's charged up with this weather moving on through. Even once this line passes through, the main low pressure system is back to our west. It's going to crank out wind speeds, not necessarily within thunderstorms, but within the low pressure and the wind field in and of itself. We're going to get wind gusts this morning up around 40, 50, 60 miles per hour apart from the thunderstorms. With this strong low cranking out some energy here, with so much rain that we've had, more trees could come down. So please do not let your guard down as we go into the morning hours. We'll send things back over to you, Dana and Amanda.
All right, 4:30 right now. We've been tracking this system of severe weather and tornadoes moving our area. We hope you and your family are in a safe place and don't have too much damage, but we have been getting lots of damage reports from Seneca and Clemson area.
Yeah, we've seen people who say that they've got large oak trees coming down. One guy we just spoke to live, he called us via phone, said that cars were on his down in his yard. One even fell on his car. So it's very serious. And Chris Cedric have been doing a great job keeping us updated, reminding people to shelter in place as that storm has been moving in the area. It's a good reminder to make sure you download your app, keep your phones, tablets charged. We have had some power outages in our area. If you happen to lose power, it's a good idea to have that backup. The WYFF app, it's a free app. Download it so that you can keep up to date with what's happening in your area.
Yep, we've got thousands of power outages, lots of storm reports coming in. We're reaching out to Duke Energy officials. We've also got crews on their way to those damage report scenes in Clemson and in Seneca. Here's a look at the current power outages right now. Looks like most of them are in Henderson County with more than 15,000, 8,000 in Jackson. Buncombe County has a few. Haywood has a few as well. So that is where we stand right now. 3,000 power outages in Greenville and Anderson counties as well. That's where we stand. We have a whole team of people out there being as safe as possible, getting video and reports and updates of this damage, talking to people who heard that storm roll through. And again, our weather team is tracking this very carefully. And Chris, the threat is not over for some people.
Yeah, still seeing some very strong winds within this line that's pushing through. But the good news, I can tell you, it looks like this leading edge that's pushing out of our area is taking over as the dominant storm line. So still some very strong winds here through Greenville County as our severe thunderstorm warning goes until 4:45. And as we look through this storm, we've got extremely heavy rainfall that's putting down an inch or so per hour. So with the ground so saturated, the winds will stay up today. What we call non-thunderstorm winds in excess of 40-50 miles per hour. Think about a tropical system that moves through. It has a wind field around it. This low pressure system is tapping into some low-level jet energy, and it's going to send some of that to the ground, and we're going to see very windy conditions through the morning hours. We have this active tornado watch until 8 a.m. here, but as this line presses toward the east, our threat will start to go down just a bit. It's going to be a while before this rain actually pushes out of Greenville and Spartanburg, but I can tell you that the strong winds that are associated with that line are quickly shifting toward the east here. We've got some of the stronger winds right now along the Abbeville, Greenwood, Lawrence County kind of intersection right in there, in excess of 60 miles per hour near Ware Shoals right in here. So this appears to be some of the stronger winds as this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 4:45. Let's take you back to Seneca here. We had some very strong winds move out of Georgia from parts of Habersham County into parts of Oconee County, and around 3:30 is when we quickly saw some rotation taking shape in Oconee County that moved through Seneca, and we got a quick spin up, and just like that we had confirmation of a large tornado that produced significant damage in the historic district of Seneca. Right there is where we had a tornado likely touch down near Seneca, and it moved quickly off toward the east. This was all around 3:20 or so. We had strong winds with active tornado warnings that pushed through Lake Jocassee, Lake Kiowee. We had Pickens, Easley. We had reports of significant damage in some of those locations with multiple trees down, all part of that same cell that moved out of Habersham, Rabun counties into Oconee County, and that's where we got that confirmed tornado near Seneca that pushed into parts of Clemson. Here around 3:42 we had some active rotation. Wouldn't be surprised if this was some wind damage or possibly a quick touchdown of a tornado. Same story here near Dacusville, Pumpkin Town. That quickly crosses Saluda into Greenville County just before 4 a.m. and this line continued to press east as tornado warnings were prompted for Greenville, Taylors, Greer. I can tell you, looking right now live at Live Super Doppler 4 HD, our tornado threat is lower across Greenville County. I want you to still stay alert as we have strong winds still moving through Greenville County. This active severe thunderstorm warning from Greenville to Anderson to Abbeville, Greenwood, Lawrence, Spartanburg, Union, and Cherokee counties goes until 4:45, but I can tell you we're quickly seeing our threat here at home shift toward the east with this leading edge of the line pushing through I-77 right here with some very heavy rainfall here at home and some gusty winds. But that continues to be the case right now. And Dana and Amanda, you guys have been watching our reports come in. power outages, trees down, and we spoke to a few folks that had damage to their own homes.
Yeah, Chris, a lot of the worst of it, as you said, seems to be in the Seneca and Clemson area where that tornado tore through. We actually have a crew on the way there right now.
Well, we've got some new power outages. These are the latest numbers that we have. We can see the most power outages right now in Henderson at 15,000. You've also got Jackson, Transylvania counties. Take a look here in the upstate. We've got Greenville, 3,601, Anderson, 3,400 right there. We do have a reporter on the heading to Clemson right now. Taggart Halk, WYFF News 4's Taggart Halk is on the phone. He joins us now and can explain a little bit about what he's seeing. Taggart.
Hey, good morning, Dana and Amanda. We just reached city limits here about a couple minutes ago. I can tell you the conditions from what we're seeing. It's a very steady, pretty powerful rainfall. The wind, for the most part, has seemed to have died down since we've been here. I'll tell you, though, along the way, along Highway 123, going past Easley, that wind was very, very strong. The rain, at times, really kind of a nasty whipping at us as we were driving. And as for the road conditions themselves, you saw a lot of trees, or a lot of leaves, rather, scattered all over the roads. You did actually come up, we came up across 2 trees that were down along that highway in the right lane. So you certainly want to be very, very careful. We did see some drivers out on the roads, not very many at all. But we're heading through downtown Clemson right now. We're actually coming up closer to the campus. We're just kind of surveying what is any sort of damage here downtown. We haven't been able to come up on any just yet, but keep in mind we just got here within the last few minutes. But really, really nasty conditions. We're also seeing a lot of lightning over the course of our drive. I'd say every couple of minutes or so, the sky is just lighting up with this lightning. So as far as the rain now, it is really more of that steady stream. And as I mentioned before, the wind, really not much of a factor from what we're seeing, at least at this point in time. But we're making our way through downtown Clemson. We're continuing to see what we can here. We're actually just coming up right on the campus now, so we are getting a better look at what's been happening, and we are going to continue to update you both on air and through social media with what we are seeing. So we will continue to keep you posted there. But yeah, for now, we are driving through Clemson, just continuing to monitor any sort of damage that we can see.
All right, Taggart, thank you so much for that. You know, Taggart said that he's not seeing much damage, but we do have confirmed reports of damage in Seneca and Clemson. That's where that storm touched down earlier, and it is still moving through our area. We're actually going to stay on air as it continues to come through our market so that we can help keep you guys safe.
Here's one photo of a tree down that we've got from the Seneca area. Again, that is where the worst reports are coming from. If you're watching this right now in a safe space, the storm has already moved through and it's safe for you to do so. We would welcome any photos or video that you can provide us to help us share with our viewers just how strong this storm was as it moved through. You can see radar on the left of your screen right there. Chris is still tracking this severe thunderstorm warning. And Chris, this system has been moving so fast.
Yeah, it's moving at about 65 miles per hour, and it's racing off toward the east. Just had a report in Inman about how the winds were so calm, and then all of a sudden they ramped up, which was described as the viewer by hurricane force winds, and not a far stretch there, as we've had winds clocked up to 70 miles per hour in this area. Let's click this warning right here as we have this active severe thunderstorm warning until 4:45, which does include parts of Union County, Cherokee County. This new one goes until 5:15 for Union County, but for Spartanburg County, Greenville, and Lawrence County, still some very strong winds moving through this area with torrential rain. Now, the good news, this does not look tornadic. The bad news, it's still very strong winds. Putting a track on it, it's moving towards Spartanburg at 5 a.m., Gaffney at 5:24. Let's get in and analyze some of this wind right here across Greenville County and look a little bit closer, because Greer seeing some very heavy rain. Lyman, Inman, toward Moore, Pauline, Woodruff, Chesney, and Mayo, all seeing some very strong wind moving through along with some heavy rainfall. Simpsonville, Malden, you had some very heavy rain and some strong winds. It looks like the strongest of the winds has passed down through the Golden Strip and is now in parts of Lawrence County, where we've got some strong winds clocked right here along the 385 corridor that are in excess of 60 miles per hour here. 61 there in Princeton, 51 there just north of there. So heads up Clinton as we continue to watch this. It looks like this 4:45 warning is being replaced with this second warning that's going to be taking shape in southern Lawrence County, which, pulling out toward the south here, does include parts of Greenwood, southern parts of Abbeville County here. So we've got uptown Greenwood right here, south toward you folks in Cokesbury, Ware Shoals seeing some very strong winds moving through the area right now. Coronacre seeing some heavy rain, all part of this system that's pushing off toward the south. There's Honeypath, there's Due West. We've got very heavy rainfall moving through parts of Promised Land. Let's put a track on this right in here for parts of Greenwood to Bradley, pushing east into parts of 96. Very strong winds associated with this, along with some heavy rain. Greenwood 444, Pinehurst 451, 96 at 456, and then pushing east just after 5 o'clock there. Looking north on the northern side of this cell, this line is pushing through Lawrence County, quickly pushing into Newberry County, and then we've got Spartanburg, Union, and Cherokee County just inundated right now with very heavy rainfall. We've got very strong winds here from Landrum to Greer, and it's pushing east. Let's put a track on this for northern Spartanburg County. You're going to see wind gusts that are in excess of 60 miles per hour here with this, heading towards you folks in Chesney. Spartanburg, we got Lyman in this at 446, Spartanburg at 502, Gaffney at 522, Surratt by 540 as this continues to push quickly off toward the east. This severe thunderstorm warning here for Spartanburg County goes until 445 as it quickly crosses into parts of Gaffney, Union, Surratt. But nonetheless, we've got very heavy rainfall falling, which gives us the risk for flooding. But Cedric, not only that, but it's saturating the grounds. And once we get this low pressure system to continue to move through our area, those winds are going to stay volatile through the morning hours, gusting at times up to 40, 50 miles per hour, even outside of thunderstorms.
Yes, Chris, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because one thing we've been talking about, of course, we've been focusing on the tornado potential and tracking those tornado threats through the area. We've been talking about the damaging wind with this line as it's kind of bowing out, telling us that the winds are rushing ahead of the storms and pushing those storms out. That's what gives you that bowing effect, and that lets us know that we have damaging winds moving through the area, but also just the large scale of this system. We've been tracking this upper low over the southwest for days now, and now it's making its way towards the area. So let me go ahead on and give you a better idea of how large this storm system is and show you what we're talking about here. It looks like a comma, right? Like a comma head here. You can see this big storm here spinning, and what we've got a lot of winds showing up here. This is the upper level low now. This is the main energy source there. And as that continues to move our way behind the thunderstorms, behind the front, what's going to happen is we're going to start seeing those winds rushing in. That's the low-level jet that's pushing on through now, helping to push those storms on through. But as we go throughout the morning, we're going to see those winds really ramping up, and that means that we could see winds gusting area-wide in that 40 to 50 to 60 mile per hour range, just winds outside of thunderstorms. So non-thunderstorm winds there as that low pressure system moves by to our north. So while we won't have any severe thunderstorm warnings with that, we're going to be having windy conditions throughout the day. So if you have any loose items that may be outside on your porch or on the patio, definitely, if you haven't done so already, you'll want to make sure those are secured as we go throughout the day, because those winds will remain gusty and continue to pick up as we go into the late morning hours across the area. But obviously what's happening as well is we've got all this heavy rainfall that's moving through the region right now. And as we go back in, and I'll show you a little closer inspection of the radar for our area, again, we've got obviously the severe weather. We've got some very torrential rainfall coming down now at the rate of several inches an hour. Now, it's not raining for several hours, but that tells you that we could pick up a good bit of rainfall in a short period of time, and that's what leads to flash flooding. So we've got the flash flooding risk to worry about. And then again, when you have these strong winds coming in behind the system, the saturated soils, the strong winds that we've already seen, that's going to help weaken those tree limbs and the roots there in the trees, and those means those will likely topple over as we go throughout the morning, and that could lead to more power outages across the area. So this is definitely kind of a three-pronged storm system as we go throughout the day. We're going to have part one moving through now with the severe weather threat, and also the heavy rain side will continue on for another hour or two, and then behind that, part three arrives, and that's going to be where we start to see those strong winds picking up, and that could lead to, again, more issues later on. But for now, obviously, the concern is definitely what's going on with the heavy rainfall over the area. Thankfully, most of the widespread severe weather is pushing towards the eastern half of the area now and about to make its way out into the region. But still, we have some severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect here for places like Spartanburg and Gaffney here for those winds that could be gusting up to quickly up to 60, 70 miles per hour as this little line continues to make its way through. Let me stop the radar and give you a better idea of the area that I'm watching here. This area here just west of 29, just to the north and west of Fountain Inn. That's pushing east towards you in Spartanburg. So heads up, you're going to notice those winds starting to really ramp up here in the next 10 minutes or so. And the same thing as you get down towards Fountain Inn. So if you have anybody or know anybody anybody that may be traveling early this morning along 385, they're going to run into some of those strong winds as well as they continue to make their way on through the area here. And of course, just a quick check on what's going on. Thankfully, right now, not seeing a ton of things standing out here in terms of rotation. So that's the good news here. The hail core looks to be fairly light right now, but again, we're still keeping a very close eye on this line here that's pushing south and east of Greenville now on the south side of town, but heading for you in Fountain Inn and Spartanburg. Those are the areas right now that need to be on guard for some gusty winds really picking up there. Chris, I know you're continuing to keep an eye on that, and we've already had obviously some wind damage occurring across parts of the area.
Yeah, the wind damage combined with the rotation that flared up from time to time has been the concern here. Here is live Super Doppler 4 HD. We've also got the GSP radar on from the National Weather Service. It gives us a great idea of this activity going on in Spartanburg County. So basically two areas here that we're seeing this line. First here through Spartanburg down through Greenville County, that's pushing east into parts of Spartanburg, Cherokee counties here. We've got this active strong wind that's moving through this area and pulling out just a bit. We'll get a better idea here of some of the severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place here for parts of Cherokee County, Union County. It does include southern Lawrence County and Greenwood. And look at that down in Greenwood, Cedric. Looks like we've got some rotation trying to develop here across parts of Greenwood, south there through parts of looks like Promised Land. Some very strong winds associated with this as it's moving east toward Kirksey and 96. So this is some strong winds near Highway 221 right here between Promised Land and Bradley. Some broad rotation in the middle parts of the atmosphere, but up to 80-mile-per-hour winds with this. One thing you have to think about is our radar is looking up, and this is going to some lower elevations, so we're looking slightly higher up into the clouds. So it looks like we're looking at some mid-level broad rotation. So something to keep an eye on for sure. But the strong winds here in Greenwood County, Abbeville County, Lawrence County are the concern here, as we've clocked them up to 60 to 70 miles per hour, pushing quickly down the 26 corridor, the 385 corridor, as it pushed on through. 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds certainly possible with this activity as it pushes south, southeast out of our area toward Columbia and Augusta, the I-20 corridor. Certainly some very strong winds back that way. Let's pull out and give you an idea of the way this line is shaping up, because even when the rain and the storms move out, the threat is not over with. We've had so much rain today that the ground is saturated that we could get some trees to come down during the day when the sun is out. So please keep that in mind. I want you to be weather aware. Don't let your guard down out cleaning up from these storms later on today, because the winds will be so great with this low pressure system, which sits back toward Middle Tennessee right here. It is a tremendous low pressure system, which is cranking out a lot of energy with it. And that low level jet's going to cross through our area today, and that's going to produce some very strong winds in excess of 40, 50 miles per hour. Even when the sun breaks out later, we've got breaks in the clouds back toward the Alabama-Georgia line. So as this moves through, as the day goes on, those winds are really going to get cranking around this low pressure system that pushes through the area, and then cooler air begins to work on in. But active severe thunderstorm warnings from Roanoke down towards Charlotte through Columbia and Augusta. And here at home, we still have some active severe thunderstorm warnings in parts of Union and Cherokee County, with tornado warnings south toward the I-20 corridor. But right now, we've got an active severe thunderstorm warning in parts of Cherokee and Union County. Let's put an ID on that. Looks like it's right there from Gaffney east through Surratt, Spartanburg County. It does not look like you are in the severe thunderstorm warning anymore. Cedric, does that appear to be the case? Looks like such heavy rainfall.
Right, yes, let me take the rainfall off here.
Looks right there like Gaffney. Yep, right in there. So a line from basically Gaffney through the Union County, Spartanburg County line, you're still under that severe thunderstorm warning, which goes until 5:15 with strong straight line winds for Gaffney, Blacksburg, pushing east toward parts of the I-77 corridor, very quickly off toward there. So far, we continue to get inundated with damage reports from in and around the Seneca area. It appears that a very large tornado touched down in and around Seneca near Clemson as well, and we're continuing to get some very heavy rainfall in that area. Our crews are on the way as safely as they can, but we've got a lot of downed trees in that area, down power lines, a lot of power outages in this neck of the woods as well, with very heavy rainfall still moving through the Golden Strip, through Greenville, over through Simpsonville. Dana, Amanda, you guys have been watching this story unfold, getting reports from homeowners that have seen trees down in their homes. Just a dangerous situation back towards Seneca.
Yeah, we actually have a new update in from Duke Energy. Their crews are out responding to thousands thousands of power outages, but they are noting that they are still trying to observe the social distancing rules right now, as we are still in the middle of a global pandemic. So they are asking people to not approach their crews in the field. Their crews are still trying to observe 6 foot distance space between them and others. They are working to safely get everyone's power back on as quickly as they can.
And this is a photo from actually, we just changed that. This is from Shiloh Road in Seneca. This is the damage that we are seeing. We've got several viewers sending in photos explaining just how devastating this damage has been to, like, their trees.
And in Oconee County, crews are telling us that multiple injuries are confirmed. They're responding to those calls right now. If you're watching us, we do hope that you and your loved ones are safe. If it's safe for you to do so, please send us pictures of the damage.
In some of the areas, we've got a tornado warning up until 5:30 this morning, so we're going to stay on air and continue to provide the latest information. Be sure to download our mobile app in case you lose power. We want to make sure you can still get this life-saving information. Make sure your phones, your tablets are charged, so if you have to switch over from watching us on TV, you can easily do that and still get that life-saving information. Again, as we take more views outside, this is the radar showing some of the wind damage and the alerts that we've got here, and also we've got more storm damage on the right side. This is Fort Hill Drive in Seneca, where that large tornado touched down earlier this morning. So that's where we're seeing a lot of damage. Also in Oconee County right now, we are taking a live view from Skycam. You can see a lot of rain droplets out there. I know driving in, living here in Greenville County, there was a lot of wind, and you can see almost like the stoplights, you know, blowing back and forth. We've also got some damage outside of near our studio on Rutherford Street. There's a construction site out there. There were gates that were blown over into the road as we were driving in this morning.
Again, more videos and photos of the damage coming in. We're getting the worst damage reports from the Seneca and Clemson area, where a tornado did touch down. We are hearing from viewers that there are a lot of power lines down on the roads. So if you are coming out of your home right now to survey any of that damage in your yard or neighborhood, if you're checking on your neighbors right now, please be careful. Assume that power lines are active. Do not try to cross over them or step over them if you see them down in the roads. Wait for Duke Energy power crews to get there to be sure that the area is safe. If you can send us any pictures or videos, please do so, that way we can help share with others just how powerful the storm was as it moved through. It moved through very quickly. We are hearing from some people that their roofs are damaged. Some cars are crushed as trees fell on top of them. Really some impressive reports coming in too. We know that in Oconee County, in the Seneca area, there were reports of trees 3 feet in diameter being knocked over. This is one of the photos that we just got tweeted to us from the Utica Mill Hill in Oconee County. This viewer says she believes there was a utility building just up the road from this Utica Mill Hill area that is gone. She says her dad is telling her that some of their front furniture that was on the front porch is just blown away and gone right now. You can see damage to the siding just kind of ripped off there. Shows you just how strong those winds were when they came through.
Extremely strong. We're also seeing, as you can see here, this is the back of the apartment from Utica Mill Hill. Things were blown all over the place. She says, like, the wind actually took one car and crashed it into another. So Chris has been talking about just how fast this storm has moved, 65 to 70 miles per hour. That's how fast you're going a lot of times on the interstate. So that just goes, and this is the photo that I was talking about where you see that car pushed into another. This is just how strong those winds are right now. Again, seeing the most damage in the Oconee County area right now. So if you are in that area, or actually that has moved on, but if you're still in the line of this storm, we ask that you please stay safe. And if you are in a safe space and you can send us photos, we would love to see them so that we can share them on air.
And again, a quick update from Duke Energy here. They say that as soon as the storm passes through the area and wind speeds drop below 39 miles per hour, that is when it's safe for their crews to travel and begin damage assessment and repairs. So again, if you see those Duke Energy crews out there, do not approach them. They are still observing social distancing rules, but they are hoping to get people's power back on just as quickly as they can. Chris?
Yeah, we're watching that, Amanda, so closely. Many of you watching right now wondering if it's okay to come out of your safe place. You're seeing this damage come out of the Clemson-Seneca area, and I want to show you the watches and warnings that we have across the area. We've got a high wind watch. We've got wind advisories all across the area with flash flood watches as well up toward the north. This is a multi-thread here, but let's show you live Super Doppler 4 HD and the severe thunderstorm warnings because this is moving quickly toward the east right here. Still have warnings here across parts of Cherokee County with the wind being strong, but if you're watching in Greenville County, we do not have active warnings associated with this line of rain that's moving through. Certainly still some gusty winds that could be 20, 30 miles per hour, but it's nothing severe that's moving through Greenville right now, so you are safe to come out of your safe place if you've been watching us or had the TV turned up in Greenville County, Pickens County, Walhalla, Oconee County, Anderson County. You're okay to come out of your safe place. I would not be doing any traveling in and around Seneca, Clemson right now, as there are many, many trees that are down with downed trees and power lines. That creates a very hazardous driving environment across the area. Spartanburg County, you're not under active warnings right now, but you do have this heavy rain that's pushing through the area. Downtown Spartanburg, you're getting another round of very heavy rain, some gusty winds in excess of 20, 30 miles per hour for Fairmont, Spartanburg, up toward Chesney and Mayo, Pauline, Central Pacolet seeing it. But we do have an active severe thunderstorm warning for Gaffney, parts of Union County with very heavy rainfall associated with this as well. It does appear that this line is weakening as it pushes through this area here. Still some very heavy rainfall for areas like downtown Gaffney, Surratt, down toward Union along Highway 176 right there. Very heavy rain, some gusty winds moving through, and then farther south you go toward Cross Keys into parts of Lawrence County, and then into Greenwood and Abbeville County. We've still got some gusty winds and heavy rainfall. Lawrence right there down toward Mountville, Cross Hill, some very heavy rainfall now moving through Coronaca, parts of 96, pushing off toward the east. Let's look at the velocity right here as we've still got some gusty winds here in Cross Hill. They're in 96, still some broad level circulation that we're keeping a close eye on in parts of southern Greenwood County that's approaching the southern part of Lake Greenwood right here, right along Highway 34, heading east. So broad level circulation, watching it closely. It does not appear that it's low or strong. We're going to keep a close eye on that because still some gusty winds in this area, along with the severe thunderstorm warning, which goes until 5:15. So it's something we're watching very closely. And Cedric, these winds have been fluctuating up and down as this cell and this line begins to move toward the I-77 corridor.
Yes, and that's something that we've noticed throughout the morning here is that the line of storms continues to make its way east. What's happening is we've had these little areas along that line that are kind of spinning up and producing these tornadoes, and then that little area kind of rotates to the north, and then it may drop another tornado in a different spot. But along the entire line, the line is producing widespread damaging winds of 60 miles per hour higher. So what we're seeing is a lot of trees coming down, a lot of power lines coming down, and things like that are happening in terms of wind damage because of the actual line. And the line is actually at times have been bowing out as it made its way through the heart of the area. So what that means is that the winds are rushing or pushing that line of thunderstorms forward, and it gives us that kind of bow appearance, like a bow and arrow almost. And as that happens, that means that those damaging winds are fairly widespread and pushing on off towards the east. Now you combine that winds up to 60, 70 miles per hour with the thunderstorms, along with the fact that these thunderstorms, check this out, have been moving at about 65 to 75 miles per hour. That's actually been the speed of the storms that we've been tracking them. So you can see as soon as they're in your area, they're also moving on out of the region as well. They have been moving very quickly, and what that means is you combine the forward speed with the already strong winds, and you're getting some very gusty winds like the 100 mile per hour plus winds we clocked on radar over towards Clemson and Seneca a little earlier, along with that potential tornado as well. So the winds are also something that we definitely want to keep an eye out on. So as we take a look at the overall view here, and I'll put the radar back into the reflectivity mode, or the normal mode that you're used to seeing here, you can see what we're dealing with here. We still have, and something that's a little concerning right now, of course, the severe weather threat was definitely the primary concern, but the second concern with that has been the potential of flooding. Now, we've had potential of flooding in the mountains throughout the evening and overnight hours because of wave after wave of heavy rainfall, but now that's beginning to push off towards the east. But if you notice right here along the 85 corridor, look what's happening on radar again. So we have rain, heavy rain at times, redeveloping and now developing in a line and moving over some of the same areas that already got clocked by this line and this heavy area of rainfall. rainfall. So we're seeing training of the rain taking place, and that leads to even more potential of flash flooding developing. So this is a concern that I want you to be aware of. If you're planning on, maybe you have to get out and try to head to work early this morning, make sure that you're aware. Of course, it's still dark outside. We don't know what shape the roadways are in. So if you see water on the roadways, just remember, turn around, don't drown. Do not try to drive through flooded roadways there, because not only do you not know how deep the water is on the roadway, but also you got to keep in mind we have, you know, at times mudslides and things like that. Plus you have the roads that get kind of eaten away or basically washed away when you get a lot of heavy rainfall in a short period of time. And so you may not be able to see what shape the road is in underneath you, and you start to drive over that water and all of a sudden you drive right down there. So be aware of that here if you're going to be heading on the roadways. But again, flash flooding is something that's going to be another concern now, as they're seeing some of that rain kind of training over the areas along the I-85 corridor, and some of that rainfall again continue to be heavy at times. So that's something we're watching here for you. If I show you some good news here, if we could take a look here at the wide view here, and I'll set this up for you here to show you kind of what we're tracking back to the west. Notice this is it. So once this last little wave kind of moves through, we're on the back end of this in terms of the thunderstorms and the heavy rain. But keep in mind, we've got this low pressure spinning up near Paducah right now, and that's bringing a lot of wind energy. So we're going to see some strong winds throughout the morning and early afternoon hours right here. And we have a wind advisory in effect for the entire area, really for most of the eastern half of the country, because we're going to be looking at what I like to call the wind machine cranking up, and all those strong winds are going to continue. So if you have any loose items out on your patio or your porch, you'll want to make sure that you go ahead on and secure those for today if you haven't already, because they definitely will be moving around a little bit as we go throughout the day. And Chris, I know you've been keeping an eye on this entire system throughout the evening and overnight hours, and here we are this morning tracking the severe weather moving through, the heavy rain moving through now, and later on looks like we're going to have more wind to deal with.
Yeah, that's going to be the case. I don't want you to let your guard down. Even when the sun comes out later today, we're seeing clearing back toward Georgia that's going to quickly move into our area. The active severe thunderstorm warnings clearing our area right now. Cedric, let's zoom in closer here to Cherokee and Union County. Those are the areas that still have the strongest wind and the heaviest rain right here. But I can tell you those warnings have been dropped. We still have an active severe thunderstorm warning for Lawrence County, but it does look like Cherokee County, Union County have been dropped from the active severe thunderstorm warning. Farther south into Lawrence County, we do have an active warning here, down 26 right in here, that includes parts of Newberry. It does look like Lawrence, you are downtown Lawrence, you are clear, but this activity from Cross Hill to Joanna still is severe as it moves on through. Those of you watching right now, seeing the damage reports and the injury reports coming out of Seneca, Dana and Amanda, we are watching those reports come in minute by minute.
Yeah, we really are. And like you said, those are the areas where we are hearing the worst of the damage. This is a live look out over Greenville right now from our Peace Center sky camera. But as Chris said, the tornado went through Seneca into Clemson area. And I believe we have Alan Devlin on the phone right now. Alan has been on his way to Seneca. Alan, what are you seeing out there as of right now? We've been hearing so many reports about damage.
Yeah, good morning, Amanda. Yeah, so I'm about 7 miles outside of Seneca right now. I'm passing through Clemson on Tiger Boulevard. It's been an interesting journey so far. Lots of damage out here on the roads. Any trees are down. I've passed crews out working, removing trees from 123, along with power lines that were down on 123. Traffic's still getting through, but again, a lot of damage, and it seems to be getting worse the closer I get to Seneca. So like I said, I've still got about 7.5 miles out. Our WYFF News 4 photographer is actually in Seneca right now. He's having significant trouble finding a way to get into the city center. A lot of down trees, the reports we've been getting blocking the roadways, crews out trying to remove those